Hey, I forgot to show you.
Oh, nice.
This was specially for the episode. Check it out.
Oh, cool.
Killing it since 1978.
Sweet.
But here's what you don't know is I gotta lose this pirate hat. This looks ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the pirate hat's gotta go.
How can I possibly take myself seriously? I don't think I've ever told you this, but you remember that werewolf mask that we had for Halloween?
Oh, way
Our
back.
older brother had the big. Well, it was in Chiller.
Yes.
Video.
Yes.
Old spoof on.
Yeah, when I turned into the wolf, I used that mask.
I took that mask because, of course, I didn't have a Michael Myers mask at the time. Why I don't have one to this day is beyond me. But anyways, I took that mask one Halloween, and I had a boombox we used to call it back then, which was popular.
Yes,
cassette players.
Yeah.
That was running on batteries, and I had a cassette of the Halloween theme, and I would follow kids around the neighborhood from a distance playing the song, wearing the werewolf mask, like totally insane. Myers gets the mask, and remember Sheriff Brackett? Oh, well, it's just a couple kids got some, duct tape, my mask, and a couple of this, a knife, what could possibly be up? But it's that shot where Loomis is on the sidewalk there, and that the focus, the way that Carpenter has that focus set, and you see the station wagon behind him in the background, with, of course, Myers is driving it. And he just comes and turns into traffic. And then the way that Loomis turns, you know what I mean? He's looking around and
that's a famous shot.
Oh my God, I love that. It doesn't take long that it's revealed this kid has some sort of, it's like clairvoyance, or I don't know what you would call it. Some sort of
shining.
Well, it's the shinning. Do you want to get sued, boy?
Did you see that?
I did see that.
Great episode.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And Dad Mom, is Dad gonna kill us? I don't know. Some will just have to wait and see.
Give me the bat. Give me the bat.
There was so many.
We're talking about The Simpsons for people who haven't caught on yet.
Season 6, episode 6.
Yeah, Treehouse of Horrors.
Yeah, that was really great.
How many doors did Jack Nicholson break?
Well, that final scene. That's funny because now I'm thinking of Homer when he breaks through.
Yeah, right. You're gonna have to do that side by side.
Yeah, there's nobody there. He's like, no.
Yeah, right.
And then it's
David Letterman.
Right. And, hey, it's Grandpa. No.
Yeah.
And then the last one is I'm Mike Wallace.
Yeah. Hi, David.
Yeah.
Grandpa.
So good.
The deeper stuff.
Bring us deep down.
In the WTF stuff.
Right. Mike, connecting with the Gen Z.
Yeah.
Smash that like button.
I'll start with the
hey guys and gals, it's your old pal Mike from
Hey, smash it, brothers.
Now I will say there was definitely multiple twists in this movie. A couple I saw coming, and then a couple I didn't see coming. And again, we won't give anything away, but
right,
I did have one of these kind of moments.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt that at all, but
I did, and I also had one of these, kind of moments where it was like, did it have to be that obvious?
I agree.
So, and again, without giving away too much, but I think overall, this is a movie worth seeing, especially this time of the year. It got a March release, which is kind of odd. I kept thinking about that as I thought about how this happened just before the movie business changed, how it really should have been released around this time, but I think the way
they're trying to capitalize, get an early take and then know that it's going to build even more as it approaches the fall. I don't know.
Yeah, and as usually horror movies, it's like Halloween. The last Halloween the newest version of Halloween, which we both liked, came out very late, in October, right? It came out around the middle of October. Felt like it should have been maybe a couple weeks prior, but they know better than we do.
Right, true. There was a little bit of Scooby-Doo for me. Zoink, Scoob!
Yeah.
Maggie. Did you feel that towards the end, like there was a Scooby moment?
You'll have to tell me, afterwards, because I don't want to really get into the details.
I don't either. But I would agree. Listen, I'm really glad we watched this movie. It's a good way to kick off the season, and
that's what it felt like to me. It felt like a good Halloween movie.
Watch it at night, though. I watched this in the middle of the day. You got to watch it at night.
Oh, I watched it last night, as a matter of fact, which I agree. I always like to watch any movie at night, or at 4 o'clock in the morning, which is technically morning, but still feels like night.
Yeah, it's still dark.
Yeah, because it's a good mood movie, as far as, it'll get you in the mood for Halloween and get you in the mood for, other things to come. So
there were some neat little things too that I found out about, again, and doing a little bit of research, like just some cool subtle things, like her name, Cecilia. I don't know if you even,
No.
did any. So her name, the origin of her name is from a Latin word that basically means blindness. And also, if you remember, she was referred to as C. You said it earlier.
Yes.
C, blind,
correct,
visible man.
Yes.
And even his name, Adrian, right, Griffin? Adrian, apparently, if you look at the root of that word, it's like black and darkness, and I like that stuff. That's so
obscure,
peripheral, but yet there's thought that goes into it. I like that. So this week we're continuing Halloween Fest. That totally just,
I don't know.
That won't even make that'll get
cut.
Because it went silent for a minute.
I think I was trying to do a Wolfman.
Is that what it was?
I don't know.
Just go back to the red rum. That was a little better.
But then it gets even more absurd in the next minute, because he immediately goes to his wife's office, and we find out the wife is a lawyer. Okay?
Yeah, that's absurd.
And then, it's absurd because no lawyer is going to say, what just happened? Let's cover it up. Let's lie about it. No lawyer is going to do that. It was so stupid. By that point, I was like, oh my God.
So you're saying there's no crooked lawyers? Is that what you're trying to sell?
No, there's plenty of
That's
crooked
more
lawyers.
Preposterous than the storyline of this film.
No, there's plenty of crooked lawyers, but nobody is going to put their...
Okay, but for Christ's sake, suspend disbelief for 2 seconds.
I tried. I like Peter Sarsgaard. I was so, like... I figured you were going to get the hint.
Thank God this is going to be a short episode.
I figured you were going to get the hint when I wrote to you, what was your other idea for this week? Because I was watching it at that point. I was about 15 minutes in, and I wanted to walk out. And I was in my bedroom.
This isn't about picking movies you think you're only going to like.
Well, no, but...
Jesus.
And I just... No, I'm not a grump. I'm telling the truth. I am telling the truth. This is the worst movie we've had on this show.
No, it's not.
It's the worst
it's
movie
not.
on the show.
Absolutely not.
Kind of Ghostbusters, if you think about it, since it's Ghostbusters Day. But
played by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga.
Yeah. And Patrick Wilson,
you are continuing with your tradition of butchering names. It was Martin Sheehan and Ben Affleck. We're gonna get them they're starring in an upcoming horror film alongside Vera Farmiga. It's called What the Hell Are We Doing Here?
That's a little Boston accent coming out there.
It had all the things you're looking for in a horror film, all the right amount of jump scares. And I got to tell you, being in it, because I was in the theater.
Yeah.
And I was in one of these luxury theaters, and the sound in this theater was crazy. There's a scene in the first 5 minutes of the film. There's this knock on a door. It was so loud, and it came from like the left side.
Yeah.
This film also had a staple of any good horror film, which is a really creepy looking little kid.
Yeah.
I mean, how creepy was this little kid looking with his big old glasses, pushed down on his nose? It's just, I don't know. He was just really odd looking.
And that's when the special effects. Yeah, because all of it, there was a lot of special effects.
Right.
When he's on the table and he's going through the exorcism, or they try to do the exorcism.
I would imagine that my experience was influenced by the fact that it was in the theater on the big screen. Because if you think about it, imagine seeing that on a big screen.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense, and with the sound as well. I noticed that, they at one point in the film, the Warrens go to Danvers, Massachusetts, which is not too far up the road from where we grew up.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of funny. We have a story that we can't really tell that took place in Danvers many years ago.
Well, I spent a lot of time in Danvers.
Maybe once we get a Patreon going, that'll be a bonus for our subscribers, our Patreon members. We'll reveal that. It's kind of like Carly Simon not revealing who the character is in You're So Vain.
You're So Vain.
The things you expect in a horror film, like, for example, this doesn't really give anything away, but when there's impending doom and a character's about to bite it, and then all of a sudden someone comes to the rescue that was probably miles away in this particular scene. Like, those kind of things, I struggled with that a little bit. I think what I liked most about the sequel, though, was the way they paralleled some of the sequences.
That's what I was going to say. It had to be written and directed by the same person.
Yeah.
Because as you're saying, the tension is building behind door one, right? Mm-hmm. And we're really tense, and all of a sudden door one's supposed to open, and we're going to get the shock, and it's door two that opens, and it totally blows our mind, and we're taken from one place to another like that. And they had put nails.
I was just about to mention this.
As traps in case the beasts tried to come down, they would step on a nail. So you see her foot just miss the nail, but then you see like a piece of foot of one of the aliens. I thought that was pretty good.
But of course she does step on the nail.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, see, I think you're confusing it.
Yeah, there's twice
she steps on the nail.
She steps on the nail, I think, in the first one.
In the first one, correct.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah. And now, so if that isn't bad enough, because it's like, oh, God, she's got to be quiet.
Right.
But then she gives birth.
Yes.
She gives birth during this thing.
I kept thinking of that.
Women power. I
kept thinking that the whole time.
She's like biting her hand. It was just. Now, you might argue with Jaws, that opening 10, 15 minute scene is one of the best on film.
It's fantastic.
And it's just as intense 46 years later as it was originally, which I was, just a wee baby at that point when it came out. But, there's, other than that, in the latter part of the film, there's not a lot of blood and guts or gore.
I can push back a little bit because although I read Roger Ebert's, he had two reviews. He had one from back in 75 when it came out, and then another one when the DVD came out. So I read both of them.
Yeah.
The first paragraph of his review, the words thriller and action were both in the first paragraph.
Right.
First two sentences.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was watching some of the extras, Spielberg refers to these scares that he puts in the movie.
Like jump scares.
Yes. Like you would see in a
We talked about that, yeah.
with the cat jumping in the window, the cheap scare. But there was the scene where Richard Dreyfuss goes under the boat and the head comes out. That was a pretty good jolt.
Mm-hmm. But that's, that's a scare. That's suspense. It's not horror. It's not horror. I think horror is, again, it's blood and guts. It's gore. It's decapitations. It's stabbings.
Right.
It's really.
Well, what about at the beginning,
mm-hmm.
the opening sequence, which you just talked
Correct.
about?
Correct.
The girl
Yes.
gets killed.
That's what I'm saying. That's a good example of it.
Yeah.
And then poor Quint, when poor Quint meets his
Gets
fate.
munched. Yeah.
Right. That's another good
Right.
shot. Jaws was the first major motion picture to be shot on the ocean, by the way. And talk a little bit about how well the shark functioned on this production.
That's probably anybody that knows anything about Jaws has heard those stories, and it's one of the extra features because what happened is they tested the shark, this electronic shark. They tested it in Universal Studios in California in the water tanks. Worked perfect, worked fine.
Right.
But they didn't take into account the salt water. And apparently when they put this shark in the salt water, it just corroded everything. And, although Spielberg said before he even took the movie that he wasn't going to show the shark until at least an hour into the movie,
Yeah.
he didn't think he was going to have all this trouble. I mean, it got delayed like 55 days because of trouble with the shark.
Right.
And when you watch it and you see it, it seems like it was just effortless.
Well, I can't see the confirmation here, so you're going to have to do that for us. Oh, look, the role of Quint was originally offered to actors Lee Marvin and Sterling Hayden, both of whom passed.
Got it.
Yeah. So I know I read that, but
can't you ask your phone?
Did you see this? For the role of Hooper, Spielberg initially wanted, and Hooper, of course, was played by Richard Dreyfuss. Spielberg initially wanted John Voight.
Yes.
Yeah.
He went through. He offered
Jeff
it to
Bridges,
Dreyfuss.
Kevin Kline.
He offered it. He offered it to Dreyfuss first.
Lucas,
and he turned it down.
Suggested Dreyfuss.
Yes, because he worked with them
American
on
Graffiti,
American Graffiti.
Right? Yeah. Interesting. So endless Halloween connections here, which again, no surprise because it's Carpenter. Now, it was really cool to see John Carpenter have a little bit role in the movie in the beginning. That was.
And did you catch it right away? Were you like,
I did. I was very familiar with his look at that time.
Yeah.
So it didn't surprise me. I kind of
had that
it's Carpenter.
length hair.
Yeah. So that was really, really neat. Hal Holbrook, who's in this, he was an amazing actor.
And of course, Janet Leigh.
And Janet Leigh, right, who a Halloween connection as well. Not only, Psycho and everything she's done, but she was in H2O.
Right. The celebration of 100 years of Antonio Bay. And
Adrienne, just to say, Adrienne Barbeau, she owns a radio station that runs out of this lighthouse on the bay, right? So she's advertising the 100-year anniversary.
And I love it because she's got, her sexy voice. Hi, this is Sam.
KAB radio.
Yeah. The fog is, it's just really funny.
Is it me or did John Landis and Michael Jackson watch The Fog as they were talking about making the Thriller video? I mean,
yeah,
right. If you think about some of the scenes towards the end of The Fog with the hand coming through the smash of the glass,
right? I'm surprised they didn't start going.
It's very Thriller-esque. It's very Thriller-esque. Yeah. How do we not? Can you talk about Deborah Hill for a couple of seconds?
Oh, I know.
How do we not mention Deborah Hill?
Deborah Hill was James Carpenter's partner.
James.
What did I say, James?
James Carpenter.
Yeah, it was John Carpenter's partner. They were like, you know, they were boyfriend, girlfriend, and they wrote together. And she's responsible for a lot of his movie stuff. I think he was in the background, especially with this one, fiddling around with this synthesizer that he got from Cameo or Casio. And she was doing all the heavy lifting, writing and stuff.
Right.
But, you know, unfortunately, she passed away. Gosh, it's been a while now, right?
Yeah, it's been some time, yeah.
Been maybe 10 years, but she was really the brain trust behind Halloween, and she kept it going.
Yeah, and I think when they watched the first cut of the film or something, they realized it needed a little bit more to compete with other films that were coming out at that time with horror. I'm trying to think, was it like maybe The Exorcist and other things around 1980 that were coming out?
Pushes her head, she starts to bleed, and all of a sudden the movie becomes The Ring, and that creepy black, you know, character that can crunch her bones,
it's like a shape, you know, whatever,
comes out of nowhere and attacks the guy and winds up twisting him in a pretzel, basically. So the cops show up.
It's a great Honeymooners reference there, but I won't get us off track.
He's going to twist you and me into a pretzel.
Oh, so you're going to twist me into a pretzel, huh?
I don't even like pretzels. Wait.
You hear that, George? He's going to twist me into a pretzel. All right, wise guy.
Oh, he is he?
Harvey.
Harvey?
Harvey. Oh, Harvey. You're going to tell your friend Harvey.
There's a scene where she's running through her house, and it's a pretty big house. It's one of these old Victorian style houses. She's running around. And
where in the movie is this?
This is in the first, 45 minutes, I would say, first half hour probably. She's running through the house, and just the camera angles from above and the way the house looks like it's stretched out, and it's hard to describe this for the listeners, but she's running through and she's on the right side of the screen. She's in one part of the house, and then the camera pans to the left as if it passes by the wall, like through the wall.
Yeah.
And then immediately she's somewhere else running through another part of that. You got to see it to
she
really.
She kept having these time jumps.
Yeah, but this was all supposed to be, well, not in the same exact moment, obviously, but it just, the editing was really pretty good. Typically, it probably wouldn't play out the way it did, but I'm like, okay, finally a movie goes where I want it to go in terms of the outcome. And I know I'm talking in, code.
Even I'm not following.
Right. It just, they paid off things that normally they don't get paid off. Like, certain characters can never die.
I'll give you one
like
example.
Halloween, killing a kid finally. Like, let's have
like
more of that.
They'll kill everyone.
It's what I say. # more child murder.
Should be like kid bodies just trickling down the screen.
Oh, that's terrible. I am kidding, by the way. Okay, bye.
It basically opens. The three girls were in the back of the pickup truck. We saw that at the end of 2018.
Right. So hold on a sec. So you got Jamie Lee Curtis, of course.
Yes.
As Laurie
Judy
Strode. Greer, and Andy Matichak.
Yes.
Yeah, who plays?
So they all return.
I think it's Allison.
Yeah, they all return, and they're on their way to the hospital because Jamie Lee was stabbed pretty bad, and while they're on the way to the hospital, fire trucks are going in the other direction because the house, they put Michael in a cage, lit him on fire.
They threw the flare down there.
That's it. Right. Unfortunately, the fireman helped Michael out of the fire thinking he was a fireman, which was pretty creative considering other ways they've brought him back. And then I think Michael starts to do his thing. I
Right.
think that's a summary, basically.
Right.
Anybody who's a fan of 3, there's a huge like wink to you.
Which one are we talking about?
Part 3, Halloween Part 3.
Right. But which? The mask?
Yeah. Well, when they're in the playground,
The pumpkin mask? Right.
they had
Is that
the
what
3
you're talking about?
masks.
The
yeah.
3. That's right.
All
the
3 of
masks.
them.
That's right. That's right. That's a great. Easy on the copyright. Shamrock song.
I don't think I was in tune anyway.
That's
but
funny.
Yeah.
That's right. Myers himself, the mask, which is of course always something we look forward to, the reveal of the mask. How is it going to be slightly different? And
This was like major league
it was really cool.
because of the fire.
Right. And that whole scene of him getting out of the fire was awesome and taking on the fire department. All of that was great. It was the story. This is a signed Michael Myers Funko Pop from none other than who?
Danielle Harris.
Danielle Harris, who is the star of Halloween 4 and 5.
And she
And-
was also in the zombie.
And she was also in the
Films.
zombie films. And she just put out on her Instagram, should Jamie return in Halloween Ends to end it all? And I said, hell yes. That would be an awesome, not only a redemption for her, the way that she was kind of
I'm surprised they didn't bring her back,
right.
given
But
they brought back everyone.
maybe they have the long game in view. I don't know, because that
Maybe.
would be impressive. But there's some great footage of her in this. That's going to do it for another episode of the Yo Brother podcast. Been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith. And we will see you next time.
Michael! That's
Is
my
that-
tribute to Donald Pleasant.
Donald. God. We love you, Donald.
We'll see you next time, everyone.